Hotline Miami, wrong number, is a top-down pixel art gore-fest shooter developed by two crackheads who wanted to see if they could get the normal guy to kill people and enjoy it too. You play as Jacket. Let's get this out of the way. The game is hard, not in a Dark Souls fair way, but a learn the bullshit kind of way. The game is complex and long, hence the length of the video, and I will try to explain this mental handicapping giving game in all of its glory. So sit back, relax, and try to understand, this weird, fucked up, beautiful, and messy masterpiece. The level design is simple but complicated. To start, your baby brain is responsible for only two tasks: shooting and not getting shot. Unlike every other game made from a non-smoothest country, the game throws you headfirst into the level and hopes you come out on top. The dev version of slamming your head into a brick wall, hoping for it to crumble. This makes the common risk of dying completely obsolete because you just do it so fucking much. This makes the levels seem better already, but wait there, listener, it gets even better. Most levels, you walk through a door and there are two corridors, two walls inside you. Before you have to kill them and then enter a big room. Each level is a puzzle and the answer is always fucking English. The levels are static, but you can choose between characters to switch up your experience, and I think that's sweet playtime. I think I need to address something before we get into other gameplay features. Health. The idea of having HP has existed since 1984. Whether it's a number out of 100, a massive red bar, or a giant pulsating mass, if you can die in a game, you have fucking health. Nerd shit time. A health bar is basically a number that determines the amount of damage a player can take. The yin and yang of the damage, but why tell you this? Because in this game, the notion of health and damage doesn't exist. You die to a strike off, and so does everyone around you. There is not a single enemy in the game that can't be killed in one shot.
Hey, I'ma keep it real with y'all.
What about the headies?
No bitches, absolutely zero play.
You shoot them once, they die eventually. Shut up. This sounds hard, but the placement and timing is your gameplay. And like I said, it's smash your head into a brick wall until you figure it out. So enjoy this new experience. Smash your keyboard and complain vigorously about the shitty design. I'm not saying you're wrong, I'm saying you're bad. You cannot tell me with full honesty that you enjoy paying $60 for a couple of missions where you're tracking down one guy and they go, "Oh no, we went to his base, but he wasn't there!"
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
When considering the story section, apart from Midnight Animal, of this video, I originally wrote a 15-page summary and then scrapped it because it could not convey how this story drove me to the murder of innocents, and I hard cope for simping for Marin Kizugawa.
Okay,
Every part of this story feels like the same Pyrocental video, including MLG Teletubbies, combined into one giga-long, all-in-the-head, secret message, inflation, fart roleplay Reddit incel game. It's the best sensory overload simulator I've been breakcore. In simple terms, one dev coded the game, and another invented a hallucinogen so strong it could skull-fuck Joe Rogan, just to write the time jumps. Speaking of time jumps, in the game there was 2, maybe 3, changes in time or reality, which is a lot for me, a small, depressive bird like myself. I mentioned this before, but in this game, your thunder comes from around the 19th century in rapid form, and my enjoyment of the game is not affected in the slightest.
I don't care.
An okay at best comparison is like watching all of Mulan, and then all 300 chapters of Vagabond, and then them being framed as a sequel. Are they about Asian history? Yes. But how am I supposed to enjoy Vagabond when it's marketed as a fucking Disney movie? Touching on the marketing, the best way you can have fun with this game is not to see it as a sequel, but a game different entirely. You will have just a lot more fun, and you won't draw comparisons that the devs didn't want you to. Instead, you'll overanalyze every fucking part of this game, like I'm going to do instead. Instead of explaining every part of this, that's not funny, I will summarize it in one sentence and then we can go back to domain expansion, brain rot. Hotline Miami 2 is a social commentary on violence in media, showing every side of the argument as personifications and mockings of real people who believed aforementioned arguments, in contrast to pulse-pounding action gameplay, art and music, ending in a beautiful snapping back to reality of the horrors of violence and war. Don't fret, commentary is for later, but we'll take the contrast for now. To say things very simply, bro is not Vinland Saga, bro is not Berserk. In my opinion, the combat is good, but it's not good enough to outweigh the story. This is not an insult to the story, the combat is just that fucking good. It's like if Berserk was drawn by Oda. Oda's great. But just not enough. That being said, they did a pretty good job compared to a lot of AAA games.
Modern Warfare 3.
I talked about Midnight Animal, but we need to talk about why it happens. Martin, or the Pig, is a movie director, and during his second mission, he talks about his view. It's just fiction. So what about the content? The people watching, or why we enjoy it? We just do. So why think about it anymore? It's a use of dramatic irony, thanks year 11 English. We think back to the first reaction of Midnight Animal, how horrible and shocking it was, and now it's being downplayed like nothing fucking happened. This is why this scene was so necessary for the game. Drawing a line with the first game, and then sprinting right over it for the second. That being only violence, nothing sexual involved, which adds to the shock factor without this corny, edgy 14-year-old vibes, because of its deeper meaning. That being, without a single interview, we can see that the creators hate this idea of violence in fiction is just okay, like Mark ending with this fat character. I don't need to explain why indirectly calling someone a pig changes views a little bit. It's also said clearly at the end of his second mission, where he gets shot in a gross and brutal way, just like how he kills others. To put things really simply, the game makes you horrified by setting a boundary, crossing it with a deeper meaning to make it necessary and not forced. I could talk this shit forever and ever, but I think I should move on to some of the character designs. Oh my god. The default option is not as basic as you might think it is, especially with Jackie from the first game. This would be enough, but there's an unused godsend that nobody uses. The role. What the fuck were you thinking? This game is about being one step ahead, like your light fucking wagon. But there's a brand new way to play the game. Hey, back to play a fucking 1980s From Software. But she's really hot, so I'm not gonna stop her. I'm really convinced that the devs only added her in because they wanted to see a goth girl that people could simp over. Wait, what? She's gay?
You wanna die for this planet? Fine! What's 17 more years? I can always start again. Make another...
Each and every character has a different outfit, playstyle, and personality to give different types of people who played the first game a voice. Whether you gave excuses like the fans or didn't fucking care, I will analyse the one I think are the most important, and we will start with my favourite fan, Tony. Tony originated from the first game, but couldn't kill heavies, and was still overpowered, giving him a brand new Wii Rug for 2. Even if he doesn't look it, he does not endeavour passivity, but has a unique playstyle for each of the 12 available levels. You should not play any character in this game by hiding or seeking out, let alone this fucking weapon, but bait enemies out near you. Speaking of killing, the design of this character says a lot. From what you can see on the sprite, he wears a black t-shirt, a dark, bulletproof vest. The only one of 2 characters when killing entire groups of armed mafia bosses that consider safety. But his safety he doesn't care about, because optional or not, he doesn't use guns. But any weapons in fact, but his bare fists. Moving on to the clearest shit, the mask has changed from the first game, giving him a eye up and an overall making him a little more badass. We don't know why this happens, and there's plenty of fan explanations, but I just think it makes him a little more cool. But Why a tiger? As the brash, hot-headed, aggressive leader of the fans, Tony tends to get to represent the group's more negative stereotypes, seeking action, thrills, and notoriety above anything else. Tony is a homicidal, bloodthirsty maniac who gets all of his enjoyment out of brutalizing any criminal gang he comes across. That was ripped straight from Villain's Wiki, but still, like any real-life tiger. I'm probably overanalyzing this, but I think there's a reason it's not a lion. There's no lion in either of the games because personally I think that Tony gets all the bonuses of being that big cat. The anger, the superiority, the cockiness, and a whole lot of strength, but none of the bravery, courage, mighty connotations of a lion. His view of violence is simple, but brutal. He doesn't care about his enemies, but joys in murder of violence. He's based on the stoic character of Moss from Old Country for Old Men, but with none of the sympathy. What sells this to me is the lines before moving up, a mission where the fans enter a crack den to save a friend of a friend. Wait, we're doing house calls for friends, are we?
Please end my suffering. With your God-given mercy, release me from my prison of transistors.
Yeah, I didn't have to sign up to be no hero, saving women and shit. That's not my thing. I just want some action. Or they just wanted Tony the Tiger, not Leo the Lion. 50-50 chance. Mark is the most basic of characters, but his backstory is really interesting. Like I said, Bear, or Mark, is the game's not so hard and easy mode. His ability has no debuff, and it's a favourite of mine and the community's airhead, just chill guy. Like Jacket, he's a veteran of the Hawaiian conflict, and like Tony in their joint use of body armour, are the only really experienced killers in the entire group. Like, come on, Zebra is half fucking naked, Alex and Ash rocking up with the 7-year-old non-school uniform day fit, give him some fucking credit. The comics show a lot of characters in new lights, but Mark is a different beast. In the games alone, he has a mini pattern physique and as fucking wide as a heavy, but in the comics he is 6 feet tall. He's not skinny either. In that panel, he rips someone's head apart with his bare hands. Bear? Get it? This fucking behemoth is even more scary when a part of you, the part that's probably seen on his face, looks like you think he's only killing people because he wants to socialise with his friends. A literal wolf in sheep's clothing.
Hey, the big man's back! www.thekidfrombrooklyn.com.
Another character I want to talk about is Jake, or the Snake.
From me by a snake!
Before we talk about the character design, we first need to get a view of his house. There's something I would do if I made the game. I'd probably voice him as a Redditor. And here's why. There's pizza boxes all over the floor. It's an overall mess and some strange flag choices. To get this out of the way, this is a Confederate flag. AKA, he
May I
doesn't
please
like
have the
black
water?
Sir, please you need to stop. There are children.
Please?
This is also noticed when he asks the one as a tattoo at the end of Act 3. With this knowledge, the fat, blonde, buzzcut Jake is not set up to being a character that you would like, and his ending shows that he will not go out peacefully. The Snake is something you could say to as an insult. Someone's a traitor. The complete opposite of this
LGBT
overly
rights.
patriotic
I believe
Matt
in
Walsh,
race
Nick
and
Fuentes
gender
copycat.
essentialism. I believe that organized Jewry is...
This is another character or real-life personality that the creators clearly hate. Anyone that is overly patriotic, not necessarily a soldier.
Why are we here?
Cloudy tonight.
Want to tell me that voting CD we did? That was...
I don't know if we'll come back after recycled base. For all those who wish to break free from the shackles of good level design, the wonders of the Steam Workshop and Editor tool are for you. For some people who want to use this game to scrape it to completion, don't make the levels, only play the top 100 most popular fan-made games.
You're gonna see.
You may find some that are worth it, however the diamond in the rough is more like a crumb in an impoverished nation. It may taste good once found, however other games or hard mode is better and better made. To begin with fan levels, don't get your hopes up. With freedom to do most, people can have their dumb ideas in unison. whether that make you rock fucking hard or want to thundercunt the nearest dev. Either you're playing a beautifully written story about Zebra and Ash with themes of horror done better than AAA games, puzzle solving only rivaled by the main game, and perfect new music and sprites. Or I could play the same First Blood copy for the 50th fucking time. But why not make your own maps and put your own talents to use? Well, you know the pain of Source Filmmaker, but the agony of this is unfucking matched. Don't make the level, you only lose a part of yourself. Speaking of losing a part of yourself, Hardload is unlocked after the completion of the normal mode and adds some new features to the already difficult base game. When you play the first level, you notice that the layout itself is inverted. It is a bit like some reverse Mario levels. Like this, it gets boring very fucking quickly. Apart from this, all guns you pick up have their magazine halved, giving you the Last of Us treatment where they pump 30 rounds into you and you get nothing but sloppy seconds when you pick it up. The only thing that stops me from throwing myself into an industrial oven is the fact that the guns they give you are not halved. Apart from this, all enemies are chucked in new locations like Little Timmy level, and because of the greatness of the design, it somehow makes it not only harder, but better. By default, they're pretty good. Once you've unlocked these two and still want more, well first, go get some help. Or a life, you fucking sado. But here's some bonus levels that you can enjoy. Unlocked before the mission Subway, by interacting with the phone, we talk to an informant that says he has some info about Jacket. All, of course, for the low price of $200. After the mission, we meet with him in the bar and, oh my god, fucker spent 5 minutes in Primark. Biker somehow survived, having his skull caved in with a fucking golf club. Now, a brutal alcoholic, the way God intended, he explains that just by being in Miami, he's being in danger. This means that the organization that he worked for planned on killing him themselves. He only gives a small piece of info though, so even instead of giving him the money that he is owed, just walks away from him. The crackhead. What the hell? Biker isn't the only friendly face in the bar, and we get to see literally everyone that's taken place in 1 and 2. That being said, I really don't think Biker survived. Because, you know, they're dead. I genuinely think that this is some kind of dream or fantasy. Well, it's not the first time for even. And that's why Biker doesn't tell him anything he doesn't already know. Overanalysis is probably my problem here, and it's probably just a cheap nostalgia. But if so, it's a unique in that aspect. Not much in terms of combat, so let's go move on to...
Did you think your song and dance and your superstition would help you, Eli? I am the third revelation. I am who the Lord has chosen. I am the third revelation. I am the third revelation.
This is a fever dream of a level, and that's fucking saying something from this game. Fucking cruelty scored like an ass. Remember the mission withdrawal? The final floor of the mission, I told you that you were scripted to lose, but you forget something. I'm a fucking liar. If you beat the level without being killed, Jake goes back to 50 Blessings, the organization for beginning of both this level, and I'll leave this for the final wrap in about 5 minutes. He sits down for the leader, asking about the job, and the boss leaves for some coffee, and during this window, pressing the action button lets you pick up a hard drive. The boss walks back in, Jake looks acceptingly up at him, and Jake is shot without knowing any more. And Manny and Even meet at the police station. To search Jake, and depending on if you picked up the hard drive, it is found Abyss, and you can then unlock it. But what the fuck is this? Using the disc, Even learns about 50 Blessings and arrives at the headquarters, only to find it abandoned, covered in mattresses, and, to my attentive viewers that might notice, these are a vital step into survive a nuclear attack. It's almost like they knew it would happen. When you reach the end, a group of masked men stand in the middle introducing each other. These include some of the main characters from the first game, and some ones from the second game too. The level is just another even level. I'm tired of talking about even levels. Yes! Let's fucking go! Then it ends as weirdly as it started. Music is part of every media known to man, whether it's anime, movies, TV, games, or video essays. It's an inseparable part of the identity of the medium. Music can define emotions in a scene, whether it's a lack of it for an awkward one, or fast drum and bass for action, or electronic music for a drug-fueled rampage. The first game's music was just like the level design, simple but effective. However, this game pushed boundaries, so the music had to be like it, and boy does it do it well. Whether you're escaping prison with every move could be your last, or killing in droves for pleasure, or brooding in a corner thinking of better purposes like the main character, it all fits perfectly. Hotline Miami vs. its sequel was an argument that's never about its music because they both are undeniably great.
2 of 10 on this LP.
I've been very petty in the final sections of this video, but I really do like this game, and I think that it's a lot better than the first game. For music, style, interesting lore and story, combat and character design, I'd rate it 9 angry chickens out of 10 raping pigs. And I recommend it for all the wrong reasons. I am very biased. For people who've played this game and want more, I recommend Samurai Zero and Ultra Kill. Samurai Zero is a lot like Hotline Miami with a unique art style and a combo redo system type shit that's a lot like the Hotline Miami level design. Ultra Kill is a 3D shooter with a PS2 art style and a great fucking soundtrack and lore. Thank you ever so much for watching all the way through this video. It is my first attempt at a video like this size. And, excuse me, I have to go. I have 2 terabytes of Corey and Zoe's smut and filth.